fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads. Got a whole county full of them goats. All from the fofo. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin', and they really bout it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and Connie I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the football. This for the football. This for the football.
Good morning and happy Friday, everybody. Sam Torres here from the 440 Sports Show. We've got some cool stuff to talk about today, including another event that we're going to be covering here at the end of the month. I want to give everybody a quick update. We were supposed to do a Lakeside baseball preview today. Right now, we've got some other circumstances that we're waiting on some information. Just because life happens. So as those things come across and we get some more information, we're going to start the previews up again on Monday. We will start on Monday. Keep your eyes out on Monday as well. We're going to sit down with an interview with the St. John head coach, Alvin Rodriguez. Do kind of a coach's profile with him. Talk to him a little bit about the upcoming season. Some of his expectations, some of the things he thinks, maybe they're going to be struggling with, some of the stuff he thinks they're going to be good with, and ultimately what they're going to try and get accomplished this year. I said yesterday throughout the entire show, I think that Coach Alvin Rodriguez over there at St. John High School is doing a phenomenal job. He's really got that program heading in the right direction. The numbers, for those of you who don't know about kind of a small school dynamic, when you get into those lower division schools, Division 6, Division 7, that sort of thing, sometimes getting players to come out and just having enough players to come out for your team gets to be difficult. Let alone trying to get super highly competitive teams. At St. John, that's something that they were dealing with for years and years, was actually just trying to fill a roster, filling the team. But when you get guys in there who can motivate, who can get the best out of these kids, like a coach like Alvin Rodriguez, you start to see those numbers go up. And as numbers increase, competition increases, and with competition increasing comes better sports play all around. So, a huge shout out to him for everything he's doing over there, because it's truly a culture change, as he is a physical culture gym owner. He's obviously pretty well versed in how to get the culture kind of changed in that regard. One of the things we were talking about, I'll tell you what, I'm going to talk about it until it changes. I think the biggest matchup this year that, as I'm looking through the schedules, that I don't see, and fingers crossed because baseball is so fluid, is St. John versus Edgewood. I think that game in particular, granted, both of those teams have great schedules. Both of those teams are going to play great games all throughout the year. There's a lot of great county matchups this year. But if there's any way we can make St. John and Edgewood happen, sign me up yesterday, because I right now, as it stands, I think those are two of the top teams in the area. And similar to kind of, how everybody wanted to see Canfield and South Range head off in football, I want to see Edgewood and St. John head off in baseball this year. I don't know that it'll happen, but I'll keep plugging away until it actually does. I want to bring up or talk a little bit here about the Yourcast last night, which was an absolute blast. That's available right now for free. You can check this out over on all the social media pages. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube for both my page as well as YSN. It's also available over on ysnlive.com. This was a unique experience. I think it was not just a unique experience for the listeners, for the fans of Springfield, but a unique experience for myself personally, as I took a very heavy production role with this game in particular. Unfortunately, it does not go the way of Springfield. They fall to Toledo Christian 27-59. But it was, getting to this level, making that trip to Dayton, there's nothing to hang your head around. Toledo Christian is very, very good. And they got a young lady by the name of Kendall Braden and another lady by the name of Kaylana Butler, who were unstoppable last night. Those girls were able to shoot. They were able to drive. Shout out to Springfield for really just doing a good job of trying to, stop these top-tier athletes. But ultimately, the further you get into the state playoffs, the further you get into the state tournament, the higher level of competition is going to be. And Toledo Christian, I think right now may be the paramount of what girls basketball is. Those girls are very, very good at basketball. But again, I had a chance last night to not call this game, but take a production role and keep this. What you're seeing is a YSN exclusive called Yourcast. Now, what's Yourcast going to do? So in situations where YSN is going to be kind of bumped out from the live coverage, this is going to happen when you get into the late rounds of the OHSAA playoffs, because they have exclusive contracts with companies like Spectrum, and that sort of deal. But what we can do is provide an audio. So rather than just give you kind of a vanilla audio experience, what we've done here is created a template and use some technology to create a dynamic graphic that's going to update consistently through the game. This is something we unveiled in the state championship game this year. As we headed down to Canton and covered 3 separate teams, which is you want to talk about a cool experience going down to Canton and watching high school football, the best of the best square off, is cool in and of itself. Going down to Canton with 3 teams from your coverage area, 3 teams that your fellow broadcasters have gotten to follow throughout the year. It was really just a whole bunch of fun. It was magic, to be honest with you. I liken it to the feelings I had with Jefferson this year. Now granted, I'm broadcasting for 7 schools out here. We're hoping to get 8 at one point. You know who we're talking about. But right now, 7 schools. So I have a personal vested interest in all 7 of them down here or up here. So anybody that makes these playoffs, but this year's was Jefferson's year. So Jefferson goes out, gets the job done all the way, including beating a team in West Branch that I don't think anybody thought that they were going to have a shot at, including West Branch. So I know the feelings of elation that come with having your team get that far in and watching them succeed. So getting to watch Anthony Hartwig and Noah Doherty last night, as they called the Springfield Tigers, which is a girls basketball team that they followed all the way throughout the year, and I'm telling you, very, very passionate. Those two guys are very, very passionate when it comes to girls basketball. Very passionate when it comes to girls basketball. They just do a phenomenal job, and their ability to call the game from an audio standpoint was just great. But what this is going to do, it's going to offer you, we're going to keep the score updated. We're going to keep the players' points and fouls updated. Now, there is some time. There is a little bit of time to get the graphic updated, just because of how long it takes to update the graphic itself and get it pushed over. But this is going to be pretty up to date. It's similar to something you're going to see on ESPN for the NBA, similar to something you're going to see on the NFL for the Browns games on the app, stuff like that. That's what YourCast is all about. So the best part of being part of YSN, and this is why I think I kind of fit right in there. We just kind of melded right in together because the vision is the same. We're going to get coverage for these local athletes, no matter what. You can put as many hurdles as you put in front of us. We're going to figure out ways around them. And the not being able to provide a live broadcast obviously presents as a hurdle for a company and that is based on broadcasting of high school games. So what we did is we used our heads and we started to think kind of outside the box. And, this was an idea I pitched to DJ and he loved it and we kind of ran with it. And I used their input and we figured out this really cool thing. So keep your eyes peeled here for other instances where we may be using YourCast, the cast for your sports network. I'm really excited about that one. Speaking of, let's go to a quick break. Talk to a couple of our sponsors, and then when we get back, I want to talk about 2 upcoming events that are going to be happening here, including a big-time all-star game happening right there at Youngstown State. Really excited about that one. I know that I keep saying it over and over and over again, but I got news for you. I'm probably going to keep saying it over and over. I really think this is an awesome thing that we're doing down at YSN. At Youngstown State, and we've got a couple more commits from here in Ashtabula. So let's go talk to our friends from Toyota at Warren, as well as a couple of our other friends, and then we'll come back and we'll be talk about a couple events.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren. Driven by you.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
All right, guys, welcome back to the 440 Sports Show. It's Friday. Here we are. Made it through another week. Although, as I look outside this morning, I see more of that white stuff that is going to make it hard for this spring sport to get going. So hopefully, this snow is going to be done sooner than later, and that these fields are going to get into good shape, because I know that through looking at a lot of these team schedules, there's a lot of great baseball that's on tap right here for Ashtabula County. And again, I want to remind everybody, check out ysnlive.com. It's going to be your one-stop shop for information. If you've got questions about any of YSN's teams in the network, which include 7 of 8 Ashtabula County teams, almost every team in Ashtabula County part of this YSN family. So with the exception of one, you're going to be able to find information right there on ysnlive.com. Go over there. You're going to be able to find standings within their division. You're going to be able to see where they're sitting at in the CVC, the NAC, which are the 2 divisions that kind of run the ship up here in Ashtabula County. You're also going to be able to see, live scores at ysnlive.com/scores is going to give you a chance. One of the things I know that I find to be the most annoying is, during the season, you're at one game, or you're calling one game, or, maybe you're watching your kid play in one game, and you're wondering what the team across town is doing, or maybe what the team you're playing tomorrow is doing. Well, you're going to be able to find that information right on ysnlive.com. You go to ysnlive.com, there's going to be a little drop down that says scores, and that scores is going to be up to date with whatever our broadcasters have and have reported. And with us, there are 68 schools within our network right now. It's huge. It's huge. There's 68 schools, and there's 70 plus workers, 70 plus of us out there covering them, providing this coverage, a personal touch. And that's another cool thing too, is while we do have this large grouping of guys who are covering games, a lot of guys really have a personal vested interest into the teams they're covering. So you're getting broadcasting from a personal touch at YSN. It's really, it's something special. I want to talk about another event that we're covering this year. And this is one that really holds a personal value to me. That's going to be the Joe Pigskin Pete alumni game. That's going to happen over on at Jefferson High School on March 31st. We're going to be going there for the second time this year. This is a game. So the Joe Pigskin Pete alumni, it's the foundation that is named after Joe Pigskin Pete. And Joe Pigskin Pete is a personal icon to me. This is the guy. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today is largely because of this man right here. Joe Pigskin Pete made high school sports matter in Ashtabula County in a time that it was very difficult, and when it really didn't before then. Joe Pigskin Pete was the guy out on the field with the microphone interviewing players. Joe Pigskin Pete was the guy, and over the past 3 years, what was something that I developed more so than kind of being in awe of everything he did. I really developed a new respect for what he did, because I got into it as I'm doing this myself, and I know exactly what the schedule entails. I know exactly how much time you have to vest into putting all this effort into 8 county schools in Ashtabula County, which is the largest by landmass. Now, granted, we're not largest by the population, but largest by landmass. So, I mean, you're driving, the drive from Conneaut to Grand Valley is a pretty hefty one. And this is something that Joe Pete did in the early 2000s, and in the late 90s really is where he started. Joe Pete he's an icon. You look back to his time when he was doing radio. That was my favorite show to listen to out here was the Sports Report. I would get, as soon as I could, on weekdays, it was on at either 4 or 5 o'clock. I would make sure I got to a radio no matter what I was doing, and turned on AM 97 because I wanted to hear what Joe Pete and guys like Jordan Weston and Cody and the guys around town and what they had to say about our teams. Because when you talk about your teams, there's a whole different gusto. There's a whole different passion. And I learned that from this guy right here, watching him absolutely everywhere. You know, going to all the local businesses around here, patronizing them, doing shows from there, you know, just being a key to success for a lot of people around here. And it was something that, you know, when I was younger, I just thought it was very cool that somebody was covering sports. You know, I've said before in times in the past that it's, you know, there was a Bone Crusher Award of the Week last year, the Ringers Bone Crusher, or last year when he was doing it, the Ringers Bone Crusher of the Week, that he would give out every week, which is very much why we give a Player of the Week award out during the fall. Because for that one moment, for that instance, when you were featured there and you got that hoodie, which is why we give t-shirts, you got that hoodie, you were the top of the top, man. You were the best of the best in the business. It didn't matter what St. Ed's was doing. It didn't matter what Elder or DeSales or St. Francis or any team other in the other area, in other areas were doing. That week was your turn. That week was your turn. You were an Ashtabula, you know, stud for the week. And I watched his ability to turn average high school kids and just make them feel like superstars. And it was something that I've always looked up to, and that I worked very hard to try to recreate myself. Now, of course, Joe Pigskin Pete, you know, with gone way too soon. Untimely passing left a huge gap and a huge hole here in Ashtabula. I will never be able to do exactly what Joe Pete has done. I know that. I know that. But I will work diligently and continuously to try and bring that fire, to try and bring that flame, to try and bring that excitement right back to Ashtabula that he had. Because that's what he was. He was a star. He was a starter, and he had a way of making local sports feel like they mattered so highly. And because of that, that's why I've always looked up to him, and that's why whenever I can, as long as I'm allowed there, the Joe Pigskin Pete alumni basketball game will always be covered by me. Anything they do for Joe Pete, sign me up. That's my guy. That was my guy. That was the dude. He's the reason why I'm still moving forward here. You know what I mean? And obviously there are other reasons too, but this is largely the one. You have to have, there are people you look up to, you know what I mean? I'm sure there are kids right now who are listening to excuse me, 92.3 The Fan and or Sports Center, or you know, Tony Rizzo or any of those guys, and like, man, I'd love to do that. Well, my guy shared the same zip code as me. My guy was Joe Pete. That's the one as I listened to him talk, I was like, man, I want to do that too. One day I hope I can do that. So Joe Pigskin Pete alumni game, that's coming up on March 31st at Jefferson High School. This one is going to be, I'm not exactly sure what time it is. I'm still getting some details in right now. I know last year was an absolute ball. You got some throwback teams in there last year as well, including a Harbor Mariner team. And if you're not from Ashtabula, you don't even know what the Harbor Mariners are. But prior to Lakeside's formation, was a consolidation of Ashtabula High School and Harbor High School. And you want to talk about one of the most bitter rivalries to ever exist. That's the one right there, baby. But Harbor High School, you get to see the purple and gold unveil their colors last year in the alumni game. And, you know, obviously you had alumni from Edgewood playing, Jefferson playing. You know, there's I believe, and if they're going to stick to the way they did it last year, there's going to be two separate divisions. There's going to be I think it's over 35 and under 35. So they'll have some old guys and some young guys taking on each other. We got to see the likes of big guys like Marcus Ernst last year in the game. Brandon Ford came back. I know Emilio Parks is coming back this year to play in the game. A lot of the names from yesteryear, a lot of the guys who could really hoop, go out there for one day and leave it all on the court, and it's an absolute blast to cover. I really enjoy covering this one. That's going to happen on March 31st, right there at Jefferson High School. Can't wait for that one. I'm genuinely excited about that game. It's one of my favorite events outside of my combine. That's probably it. Which keep stay tuned on that. More information about the combine is going to be coming out right now. We're in the process of getting some movement on it, some changes, because growth is the key. We're trying to grow here. So we're going to have some more teams involved here. Ashtabula always going to be in there, but we're going to get some teams maybe from the YSN network to come up, get involved, and make this thing really competitive. I can't wait. Speaking of really competitive, let's go over and talk about the YSN All-Star Game, which is going to be happening on March 25th at the Begley Center over at YSU. This one is going to be an absolute blast, folks. You don't want to miss this one. I've said it all week. Get that calendar out. Double circle with the red marker on your calendar. March 25th, starting at 5:30. We're going to have the girls All-Star Game with the boys All-Star Game to follow that. The cool thing about this one, not senior dependent. We want the best of the best of the best. So you come out here. YSN is a 60-plus team organization, which is why I can confidently tell you that this All-Star Game here is truly going to have Northeast Ohio's best basketball all on one court. Cannot wait for this one. Ashtabula going to have representation all over the place. We're going to be represented by Coach Randy Bensel, who's going to be coaching the girls. Also, over on the boys' side, you're going to have Deshaun Williams representing from Lakeside High School. Chance Loomis representing from Conneaut High School. Nate Boyarski, the chef, getting in the kitchen another time. See if he can't cook up some plays. Joey DeGeorge, who averaged right around 24, 25 points a game this year. I mean, he's a big-time basketball player. Not only the fact, not just big-time basketball player, but he's also a big kid. You know, the kid sits about 6'3", 6'4". He can shoot. He's got one of the highest releases you're going to see on a shooter. That on top of his wingspan, I don't know that Dikembe Mutombo could block this kid. Over on the girls' side, you're going to have Lainey Passanen coming from Conneaut, one of the most cerebral basketball players you're going to see. Kate McAllister from Edgewood going down there. A very tight defender, aggressive, and gets to the bucket. She is not afraid to go down there and take a foul. She ain't afraid to give a foul. She is a very fun one to watch. Kaylin Hart coming out from Grand Valley. Mia Contenza from Jefferson. Talked about all the things that Coach Furman was doing this year as he had to kind of, losing a big portion of his scoring last year, and other people had to step up. And then newly committed from Ashtabula St. John is Alyssa Severa, who's going out there. And Alyssa Severa, when it comes to shooting, there ain't many better than her, folks. Alyssa Severa is one of the best shooters in the county and potentially in the state. She's like a 38-39% three-point shooter. She's right on pace to potentially break the St. John scoring record. She is a game player. She is a game time player, man. And much like a lot of the other athletes that are being listed on here, it ain't just basketball. This is a girl who is a phenomenal tennis player. She is a great softball player. We've got athletes. Ashtabula is going to bring athletes to the Begley Center for the YSN All-Star Game. Oh, and by the way, Ashtabula are going to have representation on the broadcast as well, as I get the distinct privilege and honor to call the boys basketball game. So, you'll get to hear my kind of flavor and excitement as this All-Star Game happens. And we've got some big plays that happen. I get to call it with my main man, Ty Bartell. If you've not got to listen to one of his broadcasts or anything that he's done, I highly suggest you do go over and check out Running Points, or check out anything that Fitch did in the fall. Bartel's going to do it, and he is. I like calling ball games with him because he's got kind of the same gusto, the same excitement that I do. You know, everything is awesome that these kids are doing, and we really try to highlight that. And we're going to get a chance again right here on the 25th of March. So the 25th, the All-Star game, the 31st, the alumni game. It's back-to-back weekends right here on YSN. I'm super excited about a lot of the stuff coming up. Like I said, next week on Monday, we're going to start with the Lakeside Dragons baseball preview. So we're going to start moving one team through per show, just moving right along as we get some of that information in. We'll get Lakeside in, and then once the baseball teams are done, we're going to move right over to softball. Everybody's going to get a preview. Everybody's going to get a graphic. This year, where the sincere hope is that we can bring 2 to 3 baseball or softball games to you live a week. The baseball and softball schedule is grueling. It is a grueling schedule. There's a lot of games back to back. They're all over the place. But, you know, my commitment to you, Ashtabula, is that we are going to get these games broadcasted and that we are going to get these games covered. I love covering baseball. It's a whole lot of fun. That's what I've got for you guys today on this Friday edition of the 440 Sports Show. I just want to thank everybody for joining me bright and early here, 8 o'clock in the morning, right here from Ashtabula. You know, I'll see you guys Monday. If you guys want to go back and check out, there's a lot of great replays over on ysnlive.com. You know, it's a functional archive. You know, so for $2.99, you can find any game that you've played as long that you've been on the YSN network time for the last year or two. It's just great. It's an awesome thing. It's something you're going to have forever, and I'm honored to be part of it and honored to help that continue. For the 440 Sports Show, I'm Sam Torres. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I'll see you next week. Have a phenomenal weekend.
This for the fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo over there. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmetto Valley. We from the fofo chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really doubt it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and kinda y'all flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.